What is going on, everybody? MrZDawgSwag here, coming to you with Week 2 prep for the Seattle Simipours. This week we are playing against Salient and kyurem-b, and we prepped a good long while for this battle. There was a lot of stuff that had to go into prep for this battle, and I'm not exactly sure if I got the right stuff. But whatever happens, we're going to rock out with what we got. And we're going to see if we can pull out a win to get ourselves back to even this week. So like I said, we are going against the Seattle Simipours, and goodness gracious, this team is scary. He's got kyurem-b, it's one of his Zmons, Skarmory, Mega Sharpedo, Marowak, or Alola Marowak, Gligar, Lantern, Salazzle, Comfey, Pangoro, which is another Zmon, as well as Salazzle, and Sigilyph, Serena, and Tangela. So his team is absolutely scary, and it really counter teams mine, and I had a long time just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to bring against this team. Those main threats, what I think he will bring is the kyurem-b, the Skarmory, the Sharpedo, the Lantern. I can see Alola Marowak coming. I don't see Comfey or Pangoro coming, nor Serena, nor Tangela. I don't think he'll bring the Gligar because he has the Skarmory, and I think it's kind of counterproductive to bring both. The other two I could see him bringing are Salazzle and Sigilyph. I think Sigilyph does a decent job against my team, especially since it can set up like Cosmic Powers and Calm Minds and go for like Stored Power and such. And I think Salazzle is also another option because it's got access to a Z move. So his team is really scary. It kind of counter teams mine just in terms of the draft itself. There's really not much I can do to it other than the strategy that I kind of thought of. So we'll get into the strategy here, and we'll see exactly how this works out. So we kind of have a little bit of a reliant team this week. Now, last week we had a team that was reliant on Charizard Y coming due to the sun. We were very reliant upon the sun being there, and it wasn't there for most of the battle. So it really didn't help me out too much, the fact that it wasn't there the whole time. So we're kind of doing another similar thing this week. So we'll see how it works out. To be honest, I'm not really confident about this week. I think his team counter teams mine so much that it's almost impossible for me to win outside of the team that I'm bringing this week. So I'm hoping that maybe I can snag a cheap win with the kind of weird sets that I'm bringing this week. So we'll get into it. First mon that I actually looked at that actually does good against pretty much his entire team is Mr. Mime. Now, this was one of my tier 5 pickups, and it's tier 5 for a reason. It has 40-45 or 40-65 defensive stats. So this thing cannot take a physical hit. It does have a good special attack stat, although it does not get access to Moonblast, which is 10 more base power. So that does kind of stink. But this week's Choice Scarf set, we're running a Modest Nature. This is enough to outspeed, I believe it's enough to outspeed Timid Salazzle. So this thing is outspeeding everything on his team minus a Choice Scarfer. And you'll see later with our Levani that it can outspeed everything on its team potentially. So this thing is a really good mon against this team. It's got Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, Hidden Power Fire, and Energy Ball. Dazzling Gleam hits a lot of things on its team. It hits the kyurem-b, it hits the Sharpedo, it hits the Pangoro. So those are our main Dazzling Gleam Dazzling Gleam clicks. Then we have Psychic for max damage. That can hit the Alolan Marowak for really good damage. It can also hit the Gligar. It really destroys the Salazzle. It gives me an option to hit Comfey, as well as Serena and Tangela if need be. And then Hidden Power Fire is essentially there for Skarmory. I have to be able to hit that Skarmory for damage, because that thing can set up Stealth Rocks, and it can defog away my hazards. And hazards are super, super, super important this week. So I have to make sure that I have hazards up. and that they're off of my side of the field. And then Energy Ball is pretty much only there for the Lantern. Lantern's a big problem for my team. Minus the Mega Venusaur, nothing can really one-on-one the Lantern, so this is a big mon that I need to make sure that I take out the Lantern. I'm trying to surprise him with like a Choice Scarf set. With the Technician, Hidden Power Fire does a lot to his grass types, as well as a few other mons on his team. But this is one of the mons where I think it might surprise him to the point where he doesn't know what to do about it. Mr. Mime is not often brought in League format, so I'm hoping that it kind of throws him for a loop and kind of gets him off his game. Next, actually, I'm going to change the nickname. I'm just going to... if you understand that nickname before, TDG probably remembers, but... and then this one... What did I nickname it? I forget, it was some... Anyway, that's irrelevant now. But next, we have pretty much the backbone of our entire team. Our non-attacking Mew. So, we got a really weird set. We got Nasty Plot, Baton Pass, Thunder Wave, and Taunt. So, if you can kind of see, these first 5 mons are all special attacking. Leavanny is my only physical attacking mon. So, it's kind of reliant upon his team not taking special hits well. And his team doesn't really take special hits well. I believe his highest special defense is Lantern. It's either Lantern or Sigiglyph. But in any case, Nasty Plot into any one of these 3 mons here can do a ton to his team, especially the Venusaur. I was just looking at it right before I started recording, and Venusaur can rake through his team if it can take a hit. So if this thing can get a Nasty Plot up, then this thing can pretty much sweep. We have Thunder Wave for speed control. I'm actually really scared of like Choice Scarf stuff. Actually, maybe I might change Thunder Wave because I have backup speed control in Leavanny. So I might change that later on. I'll see what happens in the battle or before the battle. So, but Taunt is essentially there for Skarmory. Skarmory can't 1v1 me, so I have the leftovers so I can take on Skarmory. So Taunt is a big move there. Then I can... okay, best case scenario, I set rocks up, or spikes, or something. More than likely rocks. Best case scenario, I set up rocks, Skarmory comes into Defog, I switch out into Mew, I taunt it, and then I start Nasty Plotting up, and then I Baton Pass into one of my sweepers. Mr. Mime with a dazzling, or with a Nasty Plot up, can OHKO just about everything on his team. I'm trying to think of what it can't OHKO. I think the only thing it can't OHKO is maybe that Sigiglyph. And I changed Energy Ball from Shadow Ball because I wanted that coverage for the Lantern because it's a problem for my team. So we'll see how it works out. Hopefully it can get a Nasty Plot up and just really rake with it. Our next mon we got is our Venusaur. Now, again, like I said before, this is one of our Nasty Plot passes. So we got Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Hidden Power Fire, and Earthquake. Sludge Bomb hits everything on his team except for that Skarmory and the Alolan Marowak. So this is pretty much a easily clickable move. Giga Drain is for his water types, for Lantern and for Sharpedo. Sludge Bomb can OHKO Sharpedo, but I want Giga Drain so I can get back my HP. I don't have any recovery on this week, so I'm just trying to keep myself as high as possible so I can take hits and dish out some good damage. Then I got Hidden Power Fire, obviously for Skarmory and his other grass types, which, I mean, I Sludge Bomb anyways. And then EQ is for Alolan Marowak and Salazzle. Salazzle just drops to an EQ, and then Alolan Marowak essentially can't outspeed me, so if he tries to run like max speed, it won't outspeed me, and I can 2-ko with EQ. After rocks, it's a guaranteed 2-ko. Without rocks, I believe it's a 50% chance. But obviously some this entire team is based on chip damage. Like, I need to get chip damage off, and this next mon here, Mayhem, is pretty much our chip mon. Like, nothing on his team wants to deal with Jolteon. The only thing I can think of is Lantern again, and I'm sure he's gonna bring it. So that's kind of the only real threat to my Jolteon. I have the Volt Absorb to eat up electric hits from that Lantern. I can't take Fusion Bolts from kyurem-b because it has Terravolt. That's essentially Mold Breaker. So I can't switch this thing into really any hits at all, other than maybe Lantern. So this thing will kind of be hard to get nasty plots into, but especially on Skarmory. Like, Skarmory is my nasty plot. What do you call it? Target. So this has enough speed to outspeed Salazzle. It hits as hard as possible. With a nasty plot up, it can OHKO everything on his team except for, I want to say Pangoro. And Lantern. I think Pangoro can take it, although it might not be able to take a Thunderbolt. I'm not quite sure. But Mayhem is definitely a big part of this team, and it needs, like I said, it needs some chip damage to really do work, especially for Mr. Mime. So we'll see how that works. And then we got our Fortress here, bringing it first time. And we're bringing a pretty much Hazard Stack set. We're bringing Spike, Stealth Rocks, Rapid Spin, Volt Switch. Volt Switch is essentially there for Skarmory. I can't be trapped by that Skarmory, so I gotta make sure I get out of there with some decent, again, chip damage. I can Volt Switch into, like, my Mr. Mime and HP Fire. I have options. I can go into Mega Venusaur and HP Fire. So Volt Switch, after a taunt on Skarmory, I'm going to make sure I can get this thing in here. It can't defog, set up my rocks, and set up a layer of spikes, and this thing can do well. I have a Custap Berry because if I set up rocks and spike and one layer of spike, then I can pretty much do OHKO everything with one of these three. So hoping that I can get both of them up. If I can get 2 layers of spikes up, that'd actually be the best possible scenario, because at that point Mr. Mime can pretty much clean up after that. So hopefully I can get at least 1 and 1 up. Rapid Spins to keep it off my side of the field. So really might be a lead. I don't know if it'll be a lead or not. We'll just have to see what he brings, and we'll see. We definitely have to get these 2 up. So my team is kind of riding on a lot of things this week, and hopefully we can get these stuff up. Nope, that's not what I wanted. And our last mon we got is our Leavanny. So I was looking through it, and I'm thinking, I don't have one physical attacker, and again, it's not a bad thing. His average special defense on his team is pretty low. His team doesn't want to take special hits. It's very physically oriented. So I needed one physical attacker I know. And I figured that I would go with the one that can take on Lantern, because Lantern, again, is a very big threat to my team. So I have Sticky Webs, Leaf Blade, Knockoff, and Heal Bell. I might switch out Heal Bell later on. I'm not sure yet, but I'll see about that. This speed is enough to outspeed, I believe, Adamant, kyurem-b. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, Adamant, kyurem-b. And then this is essentially to just hit as hard as possible. This defense allows me to take a crunch. It only gives me, if there's a little bit of chip damage, it allows me to possibly take a crunch or Psychic Fangs from Sharpedo. So it gives me a little bit of an option so I can hit it back. Knockoff's there for Skarmory. Also there for the Alolan Marowak and Sigaglyph, as well as Gligar and Tangela, in case he brings those, which I don't think he will. I think it's counterproductive to bring those this week. So got Overcoat just cuz, and yeah, so that's pretty much our team. It's really situational, which I don't like, but I think that we can do well with this team if we play it right. This team is probably going to get 6-0'd if I don't play it right. So I'm going to have to play it right and assess his threats immediately. I got to figure out if that Kyurem is Choice Bandit or if it's Choice Scarfed or what. That Sharpedo is definitely a big problem if my stuff gets too low. So yeah, I mean, it's a good team, very situational though. So hopefully we can pull out a win this week. Good luck to Salient, who will be playing me, and I guess we will be back with the battle here in about an hour and a half or so. So we will see you guys in the battle, and leave a like so you don't miss out, or leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more CPBA action. I'm MrZDawgSwag. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.